This is the issue on the planet right now. Our life support system is in jeopardy, and this could mean the demise of our species this century. If everyone knew what was going on, things would be different. The world needs to change. It needs to change fast. You need to know this stuff. But there's a lot of vested interest against you knowing this because the status quo and the way the world works is immensely profitable. It was really quite simple for me. There was one movie I could make after Sharkwater, one message, one thing I should do, and that was revolution. I was inspired to make Revolution because of the journey making Sharkwater. It became really clear to me that there's a much bigger problem afoot, and that what we were doing with sharks was just the tip of the iceberg. I met a bunch of scientists who said, what you're doing with sharks is cool, but it's not going to matter if we lose all life in the oceans.
3.5 billion years ago, our planet came alive when life evolved in the ocean. But it took another 3 billion years for life to really take off, when plants evolved.
There's this massive problem on the horizon that could wipe out everything. The carbon we put into the atmosphere doesn't just stay in the atmosphere, it gets absorbed by the oceans, making the oceans more acidic. This increasing ocean acidity could cause an extinction, just like the extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. The public needed to know that, and that's when I knew we had to make another movie. It was really important for us in Revolution to get some of the best wildlife footage. We wanted to show them some incredible things that they could have not gotten anywhere else.
Pygmy seahorses are the size of your fingernail, and except for a tough skeleton, they're defenseless. Baby pygmies get swept off the reef into the neighboring muck, and finding the coral they can't live without is getting much more difficult. The flamboyant cuttlefish is the pygmy seahorse's worst nightmare, and they rule the muck. The muck is where the misfits live, the fish that couldn't make it on the reef and got pushed away. Here, they were forced to adapt to a dark and dangerous world with little shelter. To survive in the muck, you've either got to be a predator or poisonous.
Big surprise in the making of Revolution was Canada's involvement in the destruction of our life support system. As Canadians, you think Canada is a great country environmentally. We've got these huge wild spaces. We birthed Greenpeace and the environmental movement. But the truth is far, far different. We are one of the worst countries environmentally, and it's because Canada's profiting so greatly from tar sands. We built a system of economy and a system of growth that basically destroys the world we depend on for survival. And we can only get big change in if everybody forces our governments and our corporations to change. Because the governments and the corporations right now are making money off the way things go. You know, it's incredibly profitable to dig up the oil sands, to cut down trees and sell them to people, to mine out the oceans and sell that stuff. So with Revolution, it was really important for us to educate everybody, because there's no conservation group, there's no government, there's no organization right now that's guiding us to a world that works. It's only going to be our emotions that guide us. You know, we're going to have to be educated so we know engaging in this activity is destructive and engaging in this activity supports human life on Earth, so we'll go for that.
We're now causing the extinction of more species than have gone extinct in the last 65 million years. 2/3 of the world's species could be gone by the end of the century. All signs say we could be part of that extinction, unless we do something drastic. In this plantation growing sisal is a relic of what this forest used to look like. A 1,500-year-old baobab tree from an ancient forest. When this was a sapling, there were 300 million people on Earth. In the life of one tree, we've consumed most of our life support system, most of the fish, most of the forest, most of the food. And now there are 7 billion of us.
Every revolution in the past has been led by the people most directly influenced by the atrocity, and right now it's kids that have to fight for their future.
The U.S. has one of the biggest carbon footprints in the world, and concerned youth are taking a stand. Rallies across the country have successfully opposed at least 22 new coal power plants, the single biggest source of carbon emissions.
They're gaining power, and they're doing it, and they're not giving up, and they're fighting these battles.
To be young and aware today is to look up to experts like scientists, lawyers, and doctors, and most importantly, victims, telling us that we're in the final countdown, telling us that the risk of catastrophic climate change is mounting day by day as we run businesses to maintain our diplomatic image. What is being told to us by science, by facts, by warnings over victims is that lives, security, and equality are the things to be maintained. To be young and aware is to be chided for not understanding how the real world works, to be warned that doing the right thing will bankrupt few but kill us all one day. To be young is to be told that not wanting to melt the ice caps makes us too radical to be taken seriously. To be young and aware is to be confused, to wonder why you can stand in front of us and both call for change and refuse the change. Let's be honest, ditching the Kyoto Protocol will not save us from the catastrophe that awaits, will not protect your 2-year-old from a world with war, poverty, and civil strife. Let's be honest, you're afraid to share. Why are we who have everything still so greedy? You've bracketed your way through COP16, you've locked yourself in hotels and isolated yourself from the communities that not only you represent, but also come from. You can't look into our eyes, into my eyes, and tell me you're doing everything you can. Let's be honest, we're all in this together, and you want this future too. To be young and aware today is to know that a bright green future is possible. You have been negotiating all my life. You cannot tell me you need more time. And with all due respect, dear authorities, you have no authority to ruin the present of some today and the future of us all tomorrow. Thank you.
What keeps me inspired is the world changing, and the fact that this stuff's working. The size of the challenge is going to call the best in humanity to the height of their potential. People are going to have to step up and, be all they can be and become heroes.
It makes me feel so good because we're so young, but we accomplished a lot of things, big things.
Every time we turn a corner, there's a new conservation group, a new initiative, a new government policy that's changing. And the more people get educated, the more they do change the world. We will turn this around. We've got 3.5 billion years of evolution on our side. I hope that people come away from revolution with a love of life, because it's life that gives us our food, our water, and our air. We depend on life for our own survival. And I hope that that love helps people go to bat to fight for the ecosystems that we depend on for survival.
Literally dying right now. Cancers are destroying our people in numbers that the Centers for Disease Control can't even explain it.
When we started 4 years ago, we thought we had to save the polar bear. We thought we had to save the environment. But soon after, we found out It's about our future, that we have to save our own future.
It's about my future.